All right, it's Friday, April 5, just after 7. I haven't found any charts I can use yet. So I was checking charts for my normal auto stop strategy, and it's not working out. So now I'm looking for charts just for my 11 tick scalp. I haven't found any yet, so I'm still looking. There's a few charts that have like 1 or 2 losses in the overnight, but then the rest are winners. But I'm just looking to see if I can find what I like to see, which is charts that have always worked for every entry. I did update my Replicanto, and there were some new options about let's see. There's some options on Replicanto now that it didn't used to have. Disarm followers. What is that on? This is weird. I had saved these options yesterday and now they're gone. Cancel the follower entry order if it's not filled. Flatten the follower if it becomes out of sync. Flatten the follower if it's in the opposite direction. Flatten follower if submitted is rejected. Flatten follower if it is unable to submit order. Flatten follower if the changing order submitted returns an error. Flatten the follower if the cancellation order submitted returns an error. Flatten follower if an unspecified error is returned. So anyway, maybe some of these would have helped me yesterday. Like the cancel the follower entry order if it's not filled. Or the one if it goes in the opposite direction. So I don't know if that would have helped my situation yesterday on my winning trade that ended up giving me a negative P&L. We'll see how this version of Replicanto does. All right, so I'm still just looking for a chart. Yesterday was like a wild day after I finished, right? Here's my one trade. And wasn't really doing much. And then it shot up, retested the highs twice. And then, man, what a crazy sell-off. It's funny because I was saying not much action's been going on during the time I've been trading. And then in the afternoons lately, there's been more. And that was crazy. All right, so I found one. This one has a bad entry over here in the overnight, but the rest are all good. So give this one a shot. Yeah, I'm just not seeing charts today. Not a great week for the strategy, although green for the week. Just, I mean, only taking 3 trades all week. That's really low compared to how many trades I've been getting recently. All right, so I've got a second chart here that I'll go with. And this one's very similar as the last one. Similar tick size. This one's a similar tick size too, but just have our options here. All right, so I've got 4 charts. Gonna arm, PA2. And I forgot to update. Yesterday was the 40th day traded on PA2. So I put in a whole lot of time and work on this account. I'm not really trying to plan on passing it today, so I reduced my contracts to 2 contracts for PA2, just especially considering how difficult it's been to find charts today. I'll just go for my 1 scalp on it, most likely, and then leave it and move on to other accounts if I get more trades than I've been getting. I know it's the last day of the payout window, so it's disappointing to not have gotten it there. I mean, yesterday's trade was a winner, so I really, if that had filled properly today, I'd be looking for the last trade I'd need for qualifying for a payout and making it just in time. So the wait will continue, most likely. I'm just going to be patient. I've waited this long. It's another 2 weeks. So the biggest problem I'm seeing with my charts is just my ATR is so high. I mean, ATR in this chart is 83 ticks. This one's 98 ticks. 98 ticks. 100 ticks. So I gotta be really careful with the size of these signal bars. And Apex, of course, still running their 80% discount 1-day pass for the whole month. You can use that code over there or any other you have. But yeah, what a disappointing week. I mean, I really believed I'd get there for the payout this week, but Copier issues, man. That's the one thing you can't control. It's like, I mean, with my strategy, I don't really have to use a copier when I'm just trading with one, trading to one Apex account. But I prefer it because it just makes it easier for me. Mainly because I'm using, or because I'm streaming on YouTube. So the chart that I have up on YouTube, I have, 4 other charts around it, where I'm looking at everything. And, like I actually I use those charts to enter with, right? Because those are the charts where I'm watching the action. And then I'll flip over, right before a trade sets up, I try to flip over my YouTube chart so that, it could be shown on my stream. And because of that and the way that all works, it's just easier for me to use the copy window to choose which account I'm trading to. Because then otherwise there's too many things to change right before the trade, to be able to do it in this window when I'm changing charts. So, yeah, that's the thing. So that's why I choose to use the sim account as the leader and then copy trade to my Apex account. It just makes everything easier. The number of contracts for whichever account that I want to trade is already preset. And it's just literally being able to go to one window and change which account gets traded on the next trade. It's so much easier than the other way. So I'm hoping this update will help me in situations like yesterday where it just won't put me in the trade. Because the action was so slow yesterday, I knew I wasn't in the trade when it triggered on the Apex account. It was only on the sim account, the leader. And I was thinking to just flatten the whole thing. But, if this was the entry, like it came back down and I was thinking, so it triggered here and it came back down. I was thinking, oh, well, when it goes back up here, it'll trigger on the Apex account, but it never did. And so then I was like, oh, well, I'm in the trade. I guess it's not going to put me into the Apex account, so I'll just let it do what it does so I can see that it wins. And then, of course, when it won on the sim account, that's when it entered me in the opposite trade on my Apex account and gave me the loss. Only gave me a loss because I exited, manually. I flattened and just took the small loss, and it would have ended up going back in my favor in the opposite direction. But, when you enter a trade to go long and then the trade you do get entered in, you need it to go short. It's like antithetical to the reason why you got in the trade in the first place. So I wasn't going to sit there and wait and gamble with my best PA to see if maybe it goes the other direction and gets me back out green again. So, and the price was moving so slow, I wasn't going to sit there and wait for that. So I took the small loss, but it should have been a win. And, if you're using a copier of any kind, that's the variable that you just never know. And especially for people that copy, 5, 10, 15, or all 20 accounts at the same time, you have an issue like that. And that, that copy error gets copied across all of your accounts. So it really can mess you up. And it's bad enough when you make a mistake and take a bad trade, but when you when you take a trade that's good and it works in your favor and you still come away with a loss, that's frustrating. So, I mean, I chose to say I'm 3-0 this week. I was 1-0 yesterday. Just because the trade was a good trade. I mean, for my system, the trade worked, so I wanted to count it as being a good trade because it was a good trade. It was just the copier that gave me a negative P&L. So I'm already over it. I just, it's a bummer that I'm not trading for one win today to get my payout. I was talking with my wife last night saying, do you think I should just go for it? I've waited this long. She's like, no, just keep doing what you've been doing. Why would you trade outside of your system when it's been working for you? Like, yeah, it's a good point. All right, so that's the deal. Probably should have updated Replicanto earlier, but it had been working really well for me lately. So I just thought, the version I had was good, but maybe these new features that they added will improve it, or improve the fills. I'll tell you what, though, I'm glad this week is coming to an end today. To only have taken 3 trades the whole week, I'm hoping it's going to change. I think a lot of people are still out for spring break this week, so maybe that has part to do with why the action's been so slow and weird. But I mean, I just, the least amount of good setups I've seen in a long time for a week of trading. See what the daily looks like. I haven't done that yet. Yeah, that yesterday's candle is just intense. But it's at the same level that it's been testing over and over. Yeah, test it here, 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 3 days in a row. And it was right there and bouncing again, so we'll see. It's just been in a range. And it feels like it's been in a range. And by the way, I've been checking out other streamers. I mean, other than Alpine Trader, who's just killing it with his opening range trade, his breakout trade. It seems like some other YouTubers have been having a harder time this week as well. So maybe it's not just me. Although it's funny, I'm saying having a hard time and I'm green for the week. It's just low volume of trades has been my issue. I mean, 3 trades, but they all worked as I intended. So I'm also thinking, I had so very few trades this week that, most of my accounts didn't get any trades at all. I think the only account I've traded this week is PA2. Is that right? No. I traded PA2 because one day I had 2 trades in the same day. So PA2, and then I traded PA7, I think. Something like that. But I almost want to pick one of these evaluations and just trade it without my system at all and see how I do. Just more of a discretionary entry, like with no stop, and just see what I do if I'm just trying to follow the price action without like entering in like any specific ways or with my black and white rules or entry system. I might do that at some point. I mean, if not today, sometime soon, where if I'm happy with where I've traded for the day or something, just to kind of test some things out that I've been noticing. Of course, anytime I used to do that in the past, I would just get killed. So it's probably not a great idea to do it that way. I saw one guy that was interesting on YouTube that's like trying out this. He has this theory that he can put on this automated strategy with his ATM in consolidation areas where he's putting like a really small profit target. I think he's doing like 3 ticks or something, going for 3 ticks, and he puts his stop, I don't know, like 40 ticks away or 50, or I don't know how far away it is. But basically, when it hits his target for 3 ticks, it reverses and enters him in the opposite direction position again. So he's just trying to like ping pong it like this and just go for 3 ticks in these areas. The problem is, how do you know when to turn it off when it then does this and takes your stop out, you know? So it's kind of interesting to watch him have it on, because he'll win. You know, he'll get like 4 or 5 or 6 3-tick wins in a row, but then eventually it does this or this and it stops him out and he gives it all back. You know, and then if he puts it on here, it's the wrong time to put it on because it goes higher, then he loses again. You know, so I don't know if it's really something that he'll ever be able to pull off. So you can't know the future of when this you know, like this is kind of an example, but when this consolidation is going to end, you know, you gotta say, I'll take 3 or 4 of them and then just not push my luck. But it was kind of interesting to see it. I mean, it definitely was working for like, you get 3 ticks, 3 ticks, 3 ticks, 3 ticks, 3 ticks. Yeah, get like a little streak in these areas. kind of a big bar. Doesn't seem like it's pushing out. Being at 350 right now, it'd be one tick shy of my profit target. I wasn't sure if I was feeling like we'd get a retest of the high, so I just decided to skip this one. Also, big signal bar. Thing is, if it doesn't work, all 4 of my charts I think go bad. So I probably could have risked it just saying the likelihood of all 4 going bad at the same time is usually not typically what happens. Seems like it's going to work. There it goes. Would have worked. You know, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I would have been taking this trade without thinking about it. But I guess 2 weeks ago, because last week I was hesitant too, so I'm still hesitant. This week's just been bad. I mean, I've just been seeing charts falling apart. Yeah, that's the thing. This week there's 2 days in a row where if I was taking trades, I would have just gotten pretty killed. A lot of losers. So my confidence is definitely low right now. Which is funny because overall I've been doing good. I mean, I think I'm up like $8,000, something like that across these accounts combined. Yeah, I mean, the reason why I was thinking it could be good is just kind of testing this area 3 times, but right under the EMA. This is the thing. This is when I get into all this analysis. This is when I'm not trading my system effectively. That's the first trade that's set up since I've been on. Actually, no, I guess I missed one. I wasn't paying attention. First entry, second entry short, engulfing bar. I didn't even notice that. There's definitely a psychological disadvantage to having a profit target that you have to hit, and you have to be in it by certain periods of time to get the payout. You know, I mean, it's very unnatural to like be trading an account and like going, okay, I need $450 more. You know, like it's not how people trade. You can come up shy, you get 400. Okay, I just need 50 more. I have to have that by today so I can get paid out. Otherwise, I have to wait 2 weeks. You know, it can force you into some bad trades or bad psychology in the way you're thinking about trading. Or it could do what it does to me, which is just making me more hesitant because this last $450 is more meaningful to make it before you lose a trade. So it just intensifies the pressure on each trade when you get that close, which is not a thing in a live account. So that is one tricky aspect of prop firm trading for sure. And also, I think because I do have the difficult risk reward, you know, where I take a loss, I could lose, you know, 4, 5, 6 trades worth of wins potentially. Sometimes even more on a big bar like this. I mean, I was 86 ticks. You know, when you're only going for 11 ticks, but you're risking 86 ticks, one loss, you know, affects your account so much that it really makes you fearful of getting that loss, you know, when you're this close. So all right, so let's see. I've been on for 35 minutes. There's been 2 trades I could have had. I didn't see one of them. And the second one, I chickened out. So at least there's been a couple setups in that time. I mean, I missed the days where there were days where I was getting on at 7, finding charts so fast, and then, you know, by 7:40, I could have 4 trades already by now. But that's just not the way this past week has been for me. All right, going to be interesting to see what happens up here. Got a retest of the high. So this is a second entry below this, but again, just not comfortable to take it. And this thing can fail and rip higher. This second entry triggered on 2 charts right here. Just out of curiosity. We're at about that measured move. Measured move was reached. Look at this thing. So maybe I made a good decision here to skip this one. I mean, just the way the price action is going, this is what I was concerned about. Even if it ends up coming back down and working, I was just concerned that would trigger and bounce up because it's an up day. And plenty of room on the daily to keep going up. We're just in this range, so I have no reason to think that just because we're at the high of the day, that's like a good resistance, good enough resistance that I want to play off of it. So missed a couple trades already this morning. Well, missed one. But yeah, I'm glad I stayed out of this, obviously, the way it's looking right now. And there it is. So that's what I was concerned about. There was a time where when I was taking every trade, I would have been in that trade. But now I'm playing a little bit of my thought process. So I just lost 2 charts. And I think, it just seems like this week is going to end for me the way it started, which is just not liking the price action for my system. Just where the entries are coming, I'm not trusting them. And for the most part, it's done me good this week because I've avoided a lot of losses. So I don't know what it is about this week, but it's not a great looking trade to go short. The only thing it had going for it really was just the fact that this chart had not lost. And that it was, potentially at resistance of the high of the day, but obviously not a good signal bar. But, if you want a good signal bar, I could just show you this chart, which engulfed this bar. So you had a first entry, second entry. So if you took it engulfing, you would have got stopped out. So that's the second chart that took a losing entry right there. So both of those charts are off the table for me at this point. So I've got 2 charts left. And at least my read on the market was right here to not go short. I really felt that it was going to do this. So it's kind of like an example of like what I was saying. If I just pick if I were to just pick an account and just trade it in a discretionary way, like I probably would jump on this for this breakout. I'm a little bit of two minds about doing that on YouTube, just because it's not really the reason why I was going to do this channel. You know, the reason was to come up with a strategy and stick to the strategy and just trade it that way and then record my journey on that, doing that. So if I start like, if I pick an account, I'm trading a different way, then I'm not including it in the stats. And, if I have success with it, it might make me want to stop trading my system to trade that way, or at least like put it on the back burner, and then I might run into trouble and then be like in this in-between phase of not sure which way I want to trade. So I don't know, might be a little bit of a Pandora's box to start doing things like that. Like I'm very methodical, so when I start doing something a certain way, I'm very disciplined to just keep doing that. But I know other people, they take their evaluations and they just, they'll just trade them hard and try to pass them fast. And I've just been trading them within my system. And I mean, look, I've had this account for 2 weeks now and I haven't even traded it, which is not great because I don't want to just pay for a month of an account that I'm not even trading. That's an evaluation, it's like, I need to get trades for that. For all of these. I mean, I haven't traded 29 and 33 in a long time. They've been sitting at this balance for quite a while. And 35. I mean, I need to start doing something with these accounts. I haven't traded PA 6 or 7 in a while. Well, 7, I think I got one trade in this week. But PA 6, I haven't. All right, so I'm watching still this chart. This chart's interesting because it had a first entry, second entry here. Would have worked. I skipped it. I skipped it for some reason. I skipped that last one that I was showing up off the top. So that's the thing. I'm just, even when the setups are coming right now, they're just not coming in places where I like them. There's been so many days where it's like so easy to take the entries because they just make sense to me anyway, where they're occurring at. And they could be like back to back to back to back. I mean, I've had times where I'm trading, it's like take a long and then take a short and take a long and then take a short, and they all just set up like that. And the way they're setting up makes sense to me. But so far since I've been on, I started around 7. So it was making this new high, or where was it? It was making this new high. I guess I started somewhere around here. So it made a high, made another high, made another high. And then this was like the first trade I could have taken that made any sense. And then this, there's a short. I didn't even see it. I didn't even notice it. Yeah, this thing is just, the other thing, when the market's doing this, I mean, that's a strong trend, right? Like these strong trends are not good times for my strategy, because I won't even get setups in these. It's like you just have to choose to like enter if you're going to enter this. But to me, this is like the hardest market to trade, because if you're not just willing to take a chance and just jump on the train and see if you can grab on and it keeps going, there's no setups. And then usually anytime I would try to just jump on something like this, like after a bearish bar, try to jump in here kind of thing. That's when I enter, and then the market just tanks, right? So I never trust trying to jump on these. I mean, on the daily, this thing, where is it? This thing's at the midpoint now. So, I mean, it could get stuck around here, or it could just do what it's been doing for a long time now. Since the end of February, we've been in this range, beginning of March. You could just keep going from the bottom to the top, top to the bottom, bottom to the top. So yeah, just market conditions this week are just really not for me. There's been a part of me that's been wanting to consider trading like the opening range, try to trade breakouts of the opening range. I mean, I understand the concept. I wouldn't do it on this size tick chart. I think the way to do it is definitely on smaller tick charts, but I think there's something to that. It's just hard for me to want to start at 6:30, and this strategy I won't start trading till 7. So if I were to do that, it means I'd be coming in for one trade, seeing if I can figure that out and get used to doing it, and then sitting around until 7 before I start trading this way. I have a hard enough time waking up as it is for 7. I don't know how I can do it for 6:30. Is this market just wanting to take it all back from yesterday? It's at like the 50% range probably. So this is like the midpoint of the range, which is interesting because you can actually kind of see it. This is like a pivot point there, here. So it'll be interesting to see if price gets held here. it's potentially this is like the area where it happens to people where they jump in going, okay, this thing's just going to keep going. And then they jump in and then this might have a pullback here. And here's the daily again. So it literally touched the midpoint of this big range. And look what's happening. So I mean, I wouldn't bet against this market right now, but I wouldn't want to be entering long here either. All right, I'm just watching. I actually just decided the way this market is going, I know market conditions are not great for my system. I'm going to switch to a different account. I'm going to trade. What am I going to do? I'm going to trade account 34. And in that way, it's just, there's no pressure. I'm not making the payout today. It's very clear with the way the market conditions are. It's just, I'm not comfortable trading my system with what's been going on this week. So I'll trade 34. There's like no pressure on that account for me. It's my last 25K eval. I'm not going to do any more 25K evals. So win or lose, it's like going to be easy to accept. Not interested in getting losses. I don't want to ruin my my win rate. But look what's going on here, by the way. So that read on the midline of the, it's also where the EMA is, by the way, but that's definitely creating some resistance here. So that will be interesting to see. I mean, the other thing I could do is that leg to that leg. We've got more also. So to me, it seems like we've gone 3 legs up, which often when that happens, maybe it's going to turn around the other way. I'm going to trade 4 contracts on this 25K eval. And that way I'll be a little bit freer to take a trade. I already made up my mind I was going to go for a payout today on PA2 anyways, so I've got 2 weeks to get trades on it. Might as well wait for better conditions to do that. And in the meantime, I don't feel so much pressure to, yeah, to have good trades. It's like whatever happens, happens. The 80% is going on. This account is an 80% account if it were to renew. So if I lose it, I'll just get a 50K for 80% off. It's basically the same price. So. All right. That was interesting that my reads of the market have been pretty on point so far. If I could just use that to my benefit, make some money off of it, that'd be great. But anytime I've ever tried to trade that way, where I just try to trade off my instinct, my decisions and execution has always been poor. Even if overall I've been right, my timing's been off. Like how I was calling it on, was it this chart? Yeah, I was calling it on this chart. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, take a little sip. I'm losing my voice. I called it on this chart. I mean, it's a bad signal bar for one, but to not go short here, I was thinking that if it goes up, it's going to blast right up, and that's what happened. But to be able to take advantage of that, that's the key, and that's something I've never been able to do, no matter what way I've traded. Or in this case, where I'm thinking like, there's a reason for it to get rejected here. It's not want to go long, but at the same time, I wouldn't trust going short. Would have worked this time clearly, but. When I enter trades like that short, that's, when it goes and does the same thing and keeps going up, so trading is a tough game. The system I've been trading is definitely, it feels like the most consistent trading I've done in my 3 years of trading futures. For the most part, out of the 3 months I've traded, I've really only had like 1 or 2 kind of bad weeks. And the rest of the time I've been really solid. And I really haven't revenge traded or done anything. I had that one evaluation a couple weeks ago that was one tick away from passing, where I broke my rules and just re-entered right away on not even a setup after I took a loss. But it was kind of a funky, unique situation. So, but I've been really good at just sticking to my strategy, and I've had pretty good results. I've proven with this evaluation, all of this was made using the strategy. So, more than enough to get a payout if it were a PA account. Unfortunately, it's just an evaluation. And in the actual PA account, well, I've been struggling once I get to around this amount of money. So, still just a couple of trades away. After this big move up, I wouldn't be surprised to retest the high. Retest the high, then who knows whether it gets rejected, whether we kind of start just creating a range. It's possible it keeps going higher. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, curious to see what happens here. You got a first entry. This thing seems like it wants to sell off a bit. Right off that midline. If I do take a trade, it'll be on Eval 34. I'll just trade max 4 contracts and just go for it. If I blew up the account with a loss, that's fine. So if we're going to get equal legs, might see something like that. Out of curiosity, so let's see if I were to draw something. If I draw it tight, could be a break new high already. It kind of looks like potentially a similar setup to this, if it were a setup here. This was a kind of resistance level a little bit. Yeah, it hit that midline in the EMA on the daily and just getting turned around. I think we're past the measured move at this point. Yep. All right, this is just on this evaluation, so see what happens trading 4 contracts. Just going for 11 ticks. All right, gotta win. Now I go, oh man, I wish I just did that on my PA. Well, it feels good to take a trade. Trust the system. And just switching the accounts makes it so much easier to trust the system. So finally got a trade for this account. 1 day on the board. Not that days matter when they're running the 1 day pass, but it's good to keep track. And update the stats here. All right, so kind of happy I made that decision. Instead of sitting here, if this set up like this on my PA account, I honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would have taken this trade, honestly, because I just don't have the confidence right now this week in what the market's doing and my system, because I've been avoiding all kinds of losses this week by skipping trades. So to have an account where there's just no pressure, take the trade when it comes. I think that's the easiest way for me to get trades and start trusting the system again. All right, so I might as well just move to account 35 next. Lock in the profit on 34. I'm not sure what time I'm going to be stopping today, but I mean, no matter what, I probably won't be trading past 9:30. And likely we'll stop closer to 9. My daughter's going to be staying home again today. All right, let's see if anything else sets up here. Just realized I actually only got 10 ticks, not 11. So I must have got some kind of slippage on the copier. Or, well, it's not even on the copier because it's on the leader too. So just some kind of slippage on my, maybe was it my entry? Oh, slippage on the entry. My entry was 1 tick higher than I would have liked it to be. That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened there. All right, good to know. And again, for anyone out there that trades Pat's Max system, you would not be able to take this trade based on the signal bar being a doji. And that's why I'm just kind of out to show a lot of times signal bars don't matter. There's a lot of trades that you take off the table trading that system that you can actually take, especially on NQ, because there's just more forgiveness. When you take a bad trade, you can still get a small scalp like this. So looks like my daughter's starting to wake up. All right, so I'm just watching here to see what comes next. It's nice to get one trade in, at least. I mean, what was that, 4 trades for the week? Yeah, 4 trades for the week. All right, just watching. All right, and the other chart I'm watching, that same trade set up right after it. So actually, after I was out of the trade, I could have entered again on this chart, but I just wasn't paying attention to it. So I didn't even realize. Now this could be a second entry short setting up here, but the bars are stacked. And I still have a theory that we might go and retest the high. So I'm just going to pass on this if it triggers. I don't like when these bars are stacked up like this. Even though just going for 11 ticks, it's likely to work because you're not going very far, but there's some resistance right here. So and it's a huge bar, 94 ticks. So I'll just leave this one on. Yeah, I've noticed when bars are stacked up like this and you get a close and it's like right above the bottom of these bars, a lot of times there'll be like support right there, and then it'll trigger you in and bounce the other way and take you out of the trade. So these ones I am avoiding for now. I don't have a lot of rules with the system, but it's just something I've noticed where I'm getting more losses than typical in these situations. So I I have some theories as to why I'm only at 80% overall. And this is one of them. I think this trade can work a lot if it triggers, especially because I'm only going for 11 ticks. I think it can work a lot of times for 11 ticks. But if it triggers, it also has a lower, I think, just probability overall. So, if most of my trades are 80 to 85%, maybe this one's only like 70%. And that could be dragging down my overall win rate. So it doesn't even look like this one's going to trigger right now. So we'll see. I'm also looking at this other chart. So there's no second entry on this chart yet. And on the chart that I was watching, it doesn't look like two legs. I mean, it just looks like one leg up. So it doesn't seem like it's coming into play anyway. All right, so if this were to form if this were to, doesn't look like it's going to, but if this were to trigger a second entry right below this bar right now, I wouldn't take it because to me, we got one leg up and it's going right back into the EMA, and I think it will probably just fail. And I'm still looking for a retest of the high, I think. So again, doesn't take much for it to be a winner for me for going for 11 ticks, but I think this is kind of like a prime area where it could trigger and then just shoot up. So not a trade I would take. It looks like it's just going without triggering anyway. But this is what I'm expecting of the price action right now. I am expecting a retest of the high. I was kind of saying that down here as well. So I'm not trying to be in the business of predicting the market because I think when I'm trading off of my predictions, I usually will make a mistake and be wrong and lose. But I will trade my setups according to that to a certain degree. And on days where my system, where I just have good charts and they're just working and the price action is making sense to me and the setups are happening where I like them, then I take every entry when that's happening. But that definitely hasn't been the case this week. And even though I had that glitch on the copier yesterday that messed up my profit for my winning trade yesterday, it's working for me this week. I am 4-0. It's not as many trades as I'd like to have this week, but at least I'm seeing that the trades I'm choosing to take are good trades and they're working. So weeks like this where the price action just isn't working out for my system in terms of volume, at least it's working out in terms of my adding my own instincts to it is allowing me to avoid the losses. Because this week I could have had a lot of losses, like easily. I mean, I don't even know. I could have easily had 6 or 7 losses this week, I think, maybe more. And those are losses that I was picking up earlier in the year just because I was trading every trade and not letting myself to override the reason to take the trade based on my own analysis. So I was just trading the chart, and if an entry came, I was taking it. So I was picking up those losses before. So now this week I've avoided quite a few losses. So I think overall it's good. It's just difficult on my psychology in some ways, in some different ways. So again, if this triggers a second entry short, I mean, on this account, I might even go the other direction and trade the failure. Yeah, I haven't been trading failures anymore. I haven't been trading failures. I haven't been trading like triple tests unless there's a second entry that goes with it. I haven't been trading lower highs or higher lows. So this just triggered the second entry short. My expectation is that this will fail, but we'll see. Again, 11 ticks is not very far to go. So I have a desire to want to enter long if this goes above this bar, but that's me not trading my system. Here we go. I want to do this, but I'm not going to because I'm just trying to stick to my system. But my theory is we're going to the top, and so to take the failure is a good trade, I think. It's funny. So I want to go long, but it's not a setup in my system. This is just me and my analysis saying we're going up here. Yeah. So at some point, maybe I can get back to trusting my instincts. I mean, it hasn't done it yet, but it looks like it's going to be on its way. It's funny how I feel like I can read price action better when I'm not drawing anything. If I was drawing something, it just creates like analysis paralysis where you have reasons to take a trade and not take a trade all at the same time, and it just creates confusion. When I'm not drawing anything, I just feel like I see things clearer. There it goes. So maybe at some point I can get back to trading where I could just trade based on my read of the market and not based on hard rules or based on a system of specific entries and just more by feel. But I've got a fear of doing that because anytime I've done that in the past, I would not do well. But I mean, a day like today, I've been calling it pretty well. There's some days where I just look at it and I feel like I understand what it's trying to do. Then there's other days where I look at it and just looking at it like I have no idea what the market's doing. And then there's other days where I think I know what the market's doing and I'm completely wrong. So that's the way it goes. Oh, so this chart now, because this triggered a second entry short that didn't work, that burns the chart for me. So I can't watch this chart anymore in terms of my system, which leaves me with one chart left. And you can see here, there was no second entry that ever formed. There's no even first entry that's ever formed here on this chart. In that last chart, I was skeptical of shorts, even when it looked like it was setting up here, I was skeptical of it. And, definitely had the right idea there. Look at this. At some point I do, I feel like I'm still like kind of in the, I'm still in the testing phase of what I've been doing. I'm at 80%. I want to keep working on that and see if I can get that to be a higher percent overall. If I wasn't still in this kind of mode of wanting to continue to like really be strictly tracking this strategy, that would have given me the opportunity to take a trade like this. And so at some point, I'll probably feel like, okay, the stats don't matter. I know what the stats are going to be. At some point in this journey, I'm going to be like, okay, I've taken X amount of trades this year and, maybe it's going to be right where I'm at. Like maybe it's an 80% strategy. At a certain point, once I know that, then I can just say, okay, I don't really need to track it anymore necessarily. But I don't want to muddy it up with like taking trades that aren't the system. And then it's like, okay, well, do I include it in the stats? Do I not include it in the stats? If I'm not trading the system, it shouldn't be in the stats because this is a specific, these trades are all very specifically taken according to my strategy. So if I'm taking trades that are just based on my read and not on my strategy, then I have no way to track that. And then am I going to start tracking like, okay, here's my, subjective trade taking column, and here's my objective trade taking column. I think it just gets, it'll become too confusing. And then eventually I'll get to a point where I'll either get confused about like which trades I should take and not take based on like near-term results. Like if I start getting losses, just trying to take these kinds of trades, then it's like, okay, should I not take these trades anymore? Should I only take the other, my BS system of trades? So I don't know. I guess I'll have to just feel it out and see how I go. I mean, obviously my first objective is to continue seeing how I can do with the strategy, as far as win rate goes. And then also most importantly is getting my payout. Not today, but eventually. So once I have a payout, maybe once I'm profitable, because the first payout will just get me to break even. So maybe if I'm, so yeah, maybe if there's at some point, if I'm profitable, like actually profitable and the system's working, but then I just see opportunities like this. I mean, look at this. It did exactly what I was expecting. If I see opportunities like that, maybe at that point I can just try to take advantage of those opportunities. I won't be tracking the win rate anymore at that point. in theory, and then it'll be just kind of easier, cleaner for me to take these kinds of trades, win or lose. Right now I'm pretty rigid in my trade taking, trading the system. So still just only the one trade today. It's getting late in my session, almost 8:45. So I'll trade for at least 15 more minutes, maybe 45 more minutes. Man, sometimes when you're just reading the market right, though, if you can execute properly, that's the thing. I think I read the market really well, but I still sometimes, when I create a bias for myself, I talk myself into something that I just believe is going to happen. And then if I'm trying to trade off of that, I make mistakes or my timing could be bad. But lately, I feel like when I do feel like I'm understanding the market, I really am. Like it really is doing the things I'm expecting, like in this case. I just haven't figured out a way to trade and execute and do it at the right times, because I feel like when I do take these kinds of trades where I feel like I understand what the market's doing, those are the times where I think I understand what the market's doing, but it turns out I was wrong. And when I don't take the trade, as you know, Murphy's Law would have it, is when I'm right. So again, this market now is pushing past the midline and pushing past the EMA. So it's still a natural place where it will ultimately come back down from, at least for today, and then maybe push through like tomorrow and following days. But still not even a first entry on this whole move up now. So the only other thing I could question is if I were to say maybe something like this is a first leg and this is a second leg, maybe that could be a target. I'm not sure it's very clean, but it's almost like one leg up, two legs up, one leg up, two legs up. So in that way, maybe it makes sense. I'll leave that there just to see. It is amazing how much easier it is to take a trade when you feel like there's nothing on the line. Like I took this trade on this evaluation. It's the first trade on the evaluation I've taken. And there's just no, to me, there was no risk on this account. No risk. I paid $30 for it. And I don't want to continue with 25, or yeah, I don't want to continue with 25Ks anyway. Like I pretty much decided I'm just going to stick with 50Ks. So this is the last 25K eval I'm going to trade. And it was like, it's so easy to take a trade when it's like, I don't even care if it loses. It won't matter to me. And then take the trade and it works. Whereas, you know, when I'm thinking about taking a trade on this account that's getting close to the payout, it's just like every decision matters, right? It's like you got to be right because a loss, and you got to make up a week's worth of work with my system anyway. So, all right, I'm just rambling. I'm just going to watch it. I mean, this is, again, we had this big, strong push, grinding push up. We've got another one just like it. And not great for my strategy. We finally got a first entry to the short side. So this thing is getting pretty far away from the EMA, but depending on how it were to set up a second entry short, maybe I'd take it, maybe not. And again, my next trade is going to be on evaluation 35. So again, feeling no pressure in regards to if a setup happens and if I like it, no pressure to take it. It's my worst standing evaluation currently. So just, again, it's like there's nothing on the line, win or lose. It's inconsequential. This account should turn into a PA hopefully next week with good price action. And these are in good shape. Just play them normal. And so, yeah, it's these two accounts that mean the least to me. And I mean, frankly, PA7 is as good as gone, most likely. So that doesn't mean much to me anymore. I like to think I can bring back PA6, but really PA2 is the only one that matters or is significant right now. All right, I'm just going to take a couple minute break. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let's see what I missed. All right. So look at that. Almost right to that profit target, or measured move, I mean. And yeah, look, on this trade, you think I couldn't have passed this 25K eval if I just didn't have a take profit limit order set? I mean, look at that. That would have been a past eval easily. All right, so this is going to trigger a second entry short right here, which I'm not going to take. Seems like it should work for 11 ticks, but I just don't like how the bar's bodies are stacking up right here. So it could be that inside bar, but it could be that last bit of gas to just get to that measured move, trigger the short and go long. Seems like there's more than enough room for 11 ticks though, but again, on these strong pushes up, just not a great look to go counter trend on big up days. I mean, we're up 285 points just about for the day. We're getting right to the top of the body of this bar. So it might be an area where it could get rejected, but I think it could probably make this one last push to get to this, at the very least. All right, so the short gets triggered. It's already almost there. That worked already. I mean, it takes so little for it to work, but in this kind of market, I don't want to do counter trend. Even on an account I don't care about. And the trade I took earlier was just like the one that I skipped. You know, there's a first entry, second entry here that I was considering going along. That was with my PA, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. It struggled at first, and then it went through. And then this one looked just the same. I mean, two legs, very well-defined legs. Although this one's not as defined. This one was obvious. And under the EMA, this one had more room. This one had less room. Both worked and both did the same price action. And this one I was thinking we'd retest this high. And this one I was thinking we'd retest this high. So but I'm on this chart now. All right, so it's 9:08. I mean, I'll probably trade for about 20 more minutes. It's like one day when I'm profitable, I can start trading my evaluations and just going for bigger moves. I mean, look at this. Like, this evaluation could have been passed in one trade. But I just, I'm not getting away from scalping until I gotta be profitable first. Because for my personality, I like to lock in the small profit, and then my job is done. You know, I've locked it in, and I only need base hits to get there eventually. look how much I've brought up this account. I've almost made $3,000 on it trading this way. And it's taking a while, but especially a week like this week where there's just less trades. But I know I can do it. I'm seeing the results on multiple accounts, right? Past 2 evaluations with the system, all the profit in this PA was with the system. And I had one more evaluation that was within a single 1 tick of passing last week that went the other way on me. But I know the system works. It's just working slowly. It's also based on trading lower contracts and also not copy trading more than 1 account at a time. So at some point, I can start doing 2 accounts at a time, maybe 1 eval with each PA. So there's ways for me to kind of kickstart what I'm doing at some point, but I'm not quite there yet. I need my first payout. And then I can start thinking about next steps. I'm just checking out Alpine Traders Discord. He says he's requested $49,250 from the prop firms that he's traded with this week. He's concerned that maybe 4K of it might get denied by Apex for the 30% rule. He's right at the borderline of it. But he's requested, for this payout window, $36,750 from Apex, $4,000 from Elite Trader, and $8,500 from Bolonux. So the guy is killing it, and he's taking essentially all of his winnings is 1 trade a day, which is his opening trade. So it's the same idea as what I'm doing, except I'm doing 1 trade a day per account. He's copy trading multiple trades, or multiple accounts on 1 trade. He's been doing like 20 accounts per trade now. But his win rate is so high on that strategy he's trading. He's at like over 90%. And he's lost twice. I think he's lost twice since November. So he's definitely above 90%. So I'm not surprised by this. I mean, this worked for the 11 ticks. There's a first entry long, so now there could be a potential second entry long, but I'm not going to take a trade here. I wouldn't be surprised if the long works just to get to the measured move, and then but I also wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of the high of the day. We're right at the top of this body of this bar, previous bar. So I wouldn't be surprised if price gets stuck around this area. But definitely just not an area where I'm going to take a trade. Very sideways here. I think the biggest thing that helps me is when there's like a very clear two legs, especially on these bigger tick size charts. Like it all the noise is removed from these charts. So when it's like a clearly defined two legs, like it seems like the trades just work like real easily. The only problem is the larger chart, the tick size of the bars, your risk is really high. This is 84 ticks, this bar. How big was it on the one I took? 65 ticks. So that's the only thing that kind of sucks about what I'm doing on these larger tick charts. But yeah, I'm winning 4 out of 5. So most of the time it doesn't come into play. Dogs are barking. My daughter's calling me. I'll be right back. All right, so I'd stepped away, but just like I said, wouldn't be surprised if this works to the long side, and it looks like it already worked. But again, a trade I would not have taken. But I'll be right back. All right. I think I need to wrap things up. My daughter is up and she's staying home today, so I'm going to be taking care of her. So yeah, look at this. I mean, looks like first entry, this took under. Yeah, it did. It's hard to tell. This barely ticked under here and then turned up. So that was a second entry long, technically speaking, above this bar. Would have worked, would not have taken that trade. We're just shy of the measured leg that I measured from down there. So, I mean, the way I see it is basically 2 legs up and then another 2 legs up. So they're basically 1 leg and 1 leg overall. It's kind of my read on it. And on the daily, see we got past the midline, just right about to the top of the body of the previous candle and the EMA. So this is kind of like a natural point of like where it makes sense that this could be the high of the day. Up 281 points right now, 1.5%. So that's a big up day. Almost as big as the down day was yesterday, right? So just looking at the daily, I mean, this is the range we've been in for quite some time, since the end of February. And I don't really see a lot of reason to think that it's going to keep going higher from here. I mean, my guess is we've got the high of the day. We've got a retest of the high of the day. My guess is we either start to range out here or start to move the other way. And then, I mean, over the course of like the rest of the trading session today, who knows in the long run, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is about the high of the day. Maybe it pushes one more time, but it makes sense to me that this is where it's going to be. And not expecting much else to go on today, so I'm probably going to end it right here. Sounds like my daughter's trying to get in, so I'm going to mute my mic real quick. All right, so my daughter just left the room. What I was trying to do is wrap up my day here. So yeah, I'm not surprised that we got up here and had a bit of a pullback. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes one last final attempt and pushes up and reaches it. And then from there, anything is possible. A sell-off. I mean, yesterday kind of looked something like this, and then that huge sell-off. I mean, there was more kind of consolidation areas yesterday, but it got to like a high point. I know I had a sell-off, and then it went way back up again. Let me look at it. Yeah, I mean, this is what it was kind of doing, right? And then it was like consolidating here after I was finished, or maybe, yeah, I think I finished around here. It was pushing back up, made two more attempts to break out of the top. It couldn't do it. And then the huge sell-off. Here we're, probably a little bit more than 50% back of the way from what sold off yesterday. So it just kind of makes sense. It's also, look at that, yesterday's closing price is coming into play actually. Or that was the previous day's close. So not yesterday's close, but the day before that was the closing price. And then that's where the resistance is today. So it's entirely possible that this is the high of the day. It's entirely possible it keeps going. It's entirely possible it sells off. Anything's possible. But I'm going to call it here. 1-0 for the day. I'm happy I made the decision to switch accounts. Just made it a lot easier to take this trade. Took the pressure off of it and allowed me to just take the trade freely. It was pretty clear setup for me, and it worked. So only 4 trades the whole week, and one of them had a flub where I wasn't able to get the profit off of it for my PA account, so that was disappointing. But what's good is I've shown myself that even in a difficult week, I can avoid losses. If I need to tighten up my requirements for my trading, I can avoid losses and still get some wins and have a profitable week. And so that's what I'm going to take from this week is, trust my system, but also trust my trading instincts. I have been trading futures for 3 years at this point. And while I'm not trading the systems that I was using in the first 3 years, this is kind of like an offshoot of, Max Pat's system, and kind of making it my own, my brother as well. And so, I can use what I've learned and what I know works from what I used to do, and apply it to this in certain situations. And my 3 months of trading NASDAQ now, because I was trading ES before. So my 3 months of trading on NASDAQ, I've just seen a lot of observations, and I know like where my strategy has its weak points, and it's markets like this and this week really where, every day this week has been kind of like an example of market conditions that are not great for my system. And definitely avoided a couple losses today. I missed out on a win or two as well. But I'm better off to have one win, even in this case, than to be like 2 wins and 2 losses or something like that. So anyway, I think I've said it all. It's 9:40, so it's past the time I usually stop trading anyway. And time to start the weekend. I'm glad this week is over. I'm ready to start a new week. And hopefully the market conditions for my trading system will be a little bit better next week, where I can get back to my, 10 to 20 trades a week. Because this is the least amount of trades I've had in a week in some time. So, all right. So let's see. 1-0 for today, 4-0 for the week, even though we know one of those trades, because of a copy trader glitch, I didn't have a net profit on one of those trades, but they were still all working trades according to my system. 163 wins and 40 losses. So I'm over the 200 trades for the year, 203 trades. And you know, even given a week like this where I've only gone 4 trades, I mean, that's a lot of trades for me to have in 3 months of trading, 3 months in a week. So all is well. And, you know, this week was my 1-year anniversary of my Apex journey. So I really thought I was going to get to the promised land on this account. Didn't make it happen. I've got 2 weeks, so I don't have to go fast. I don't have to go hard on this account, PA2. I'm going to reduce my trades to just 2 contracts since I've got time, and we'll see how it plays out. If I hit the profit target anytime in the next 2 weeks, then I will stop trading that account and get my max payout. So literally $440, and I can stop trading that account. So, all right, I'm going to do a wrap-up review video. Hope you'll check it out. Like and subscribe if you want to keep following me on my journey. If you haven't already, that'll let you know when I'm trading live. I live stream every day starting at 10 Eastern. And 80% discount, 1-day pass. Use this code or any other. This promo goes on through the end of the month, April 30th. All right, I've said it all. That's going to be the end of my stream today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. And hope you had a good trading day, good trading week. And I'll be back next week. Have a good one.